there ever a remote, rare time where you feel tempted to procrastinate? And if so, what do you normally do about it? If it
So,
happens.
so I give into the temptation. I'm,
At
I'm
least she's
just
honest.
saying.
She keeps it real, y'all.
I am human. And so, yeah, I absolutely want to procrastinate sometimes. And what I found is that a lot of times it's when I feel overwhelmed. It's when I have
Ooh.
like all these balls in the air, I have all these things to do, and it's like, you know what, I'm not doing anything. And I just get the remote control and I binge watch something. And so I give myself the grace to take a break. I call that a welcome break. I don't know. I renamed procrastination to a welcome break.
That might be
So
dangerous.
it can be dangerous, but so I don't live there though.
Happy Wednesday, my winners and go-getters. Welcome back to the Getting the Win show. I am your host, Melissa T, the Procrastination Bully. If this is your first episode, welcome. Thanks for joining us. This week, we're talking to Gayle Andrews, who is the founder of CityStickers, and she just recently did what's called a vision board party. We will definitely get into that here shortly. Did not know that was a thing until I discovered Gayle and discovered her incredible tenacity and her ability to help get people organized and together. She will get you together, okay? If procrastination is something you're struggling with, she has the solution for you in the month of March. And we're going to get into that in this interview. Check it out. As promised, I have the beautiful Gayle Andrews here with me. Gayle, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, Melissa, and beautiful right back at you.
Amen. Thank you. So yeah, your story is incredible and amazing. Like y'all, for those who don't know Gayle, like she is someone that is doing incredible things in the world, but she's like, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of introverted, you know what I'm saying? Like
Little bit,
she's
little
more
bit.
a little bit, you know what I mean? She is one of those people that are what I like to call silent giants, like just focusing on doing the work. And that can also be highly important in terms of your level of productivity personally. If, procrastination is something you're struggling with, perhaps kind of revisit what you're focusing on and how active you are in all the different facets of your life. Because I can tell you, Gail is somebody that's focused, okay? Like she is doing the work. She is doing the work. So, Gail, please tell our audience about your company, City Stickers, and the upcoming Dreams and Visions Masterclass.
Absolutely. And I just commend you also, Melissa. Let me just say that when I look at eight-time author and all of the things, the 2 degrees, you are absolutely amazing. You're like
Thank you.
Superwoman. So, yeah, just want to
Thank
give
you.
that back to you. Yep. So City Stickers is kind of like a passion project. Well, it started as a passion project for me because I'm just more productive when I write things down and when I make
Mm,
to-do lists, just do all those things. And so I always have a planner somewhere. Every single day, I'm writing the things down for what I have to do today. But I also use stickers. So I'm kind of one of those Toys R Us kids that I want to grow up. So I have these
love
stickers
it.
all over my planner. And then I have all the things to do. And so that kind of keeps me focused. And I use the company Happy Planner to get my stickers, and that was my go-to person. And there was this one sticker that I kept seeing, and I didn't quite know what it meant. It said "messy bun getting things done." So when I found
I
out
love
what it
that.
when I found out what it meant, I just said I want an urban representation. I want something to represent the community, and I also want to include the things that matter to me, like personal growth and self development,
Mm,
spirituality. I like to travel, like even things that my friends say and do. I said I'm gonna, put all of that in my own sticker box. So City Stickers was born, and not that I had any experience in creating stickers or anything else. I really don't even have creativity bones in my body. I draw stick people. But fortunately, my daughter is a graphics designer. And so, you know how
Ah,
mothers and children go, you really don't have a choice. Guess what you get to do? You get to be a part of my business. So she's the graphics designer. She designs all, I come up with a lot of the ideas and she comes up with some as well, but she designs all of the stickers.
wow.
So we yeah, just took it from there. 2021 is when we started this. And so instead of that initial messy bun getting things done sticker, it was rockin' braids crushing the day. And
Oh, love
yep,
that.
yep. And then it was like everything from there. So yeah, that was how City Stickers came to be. And as far as the master class, that was that's something we're hosting in March. So thank you for even mentioning it.
Of
And
course.
that's an opportunity for me to introduce people to people who have inspired me. So I think that one of the things that feeds productivity is community. And you can't do
Mm,
things in a silo. You know, you have to have people around you who either have done what you're trying to do or that can help you get there. And so I wanted to introduce people to some of the people that inspire me, like I said, and some of the tools and techniques that I use that
okay.
help me keep moving forward and moving the needle in my life. And hopefully, you know, prayerfully, though, those things will help people move the needle in their lives. That's the master class.
Awesome. And by the way, folks, that masterclass is in depth. Okay. It is a 1 month course. I love that you kind of, I saw your masterclass and immediately thought of ET's more in 2024. Guys, it
Okay.
is most of March. So it is a
Yeah,
class for real. Okay.
it is. It is. It's an intensive, just like you said, 4 weeks.
It's an
So yes,
intensive.
we're gonna drop a lot in there, and yeah, the good thing is it'll be recorded so you can go back and reference it.
Beautiful. And please like use this opportunity to unpack that. What can people expect if they're interested? Like what transformation will the masterclass provide for them?
Absolutely. So it's all about going from goal setting to goal achieving. And Melissa, I know you're all about that life. Goal
Go get it,
setter,
y'all.
goal getter. Yeah. And the latter is the more important thing because we can always make plans, make goals, have these dreams and these visions, but until you get it off the board and start
That
activating and take action, then they really don't mean a whole lot. And so this class is designed to help you take all of those goals and dreams and to put them into action, create a roadmap and a plan to achieve them and get some checks on those boxes, get some dones. And so some of the things that I have in the class, I kind of curated it to say, well, what is stopping people from getting there? So, one of the
mm-hmm.
biggest things I think is procrastination. So, guys, you have the procrastination bully right in front of you. And Melissa is fire when it comes to this. And so, yeah, Melissa's going to be a part of the group and she'll dive into everything procrastination. And she calls herself a recovering procrastinator, which I absolutely love. And it kind of, and so for me, that applies to me as well. But it kind of reminds me of how we can always repent and ask for forgiveness because the
Amen.
procrastination isn't just a one-time thing.
Nope.
When it happens, just know don't live there. Get back up and keep being productive. So, yeah, we have lots of speakers coming on different topics that can keep us from being productive. And we're going to be watching some films. We're
Oh,
going to
cool.
have, yeah, experts there, tools there. I curated a workbook so that you can take notes, you can follow through, you can have some reminders in there about what we're learning. It's going to be a whole vibe. I'm all about the experience, Melissa. So I don't want it to be just a regular, average, intensive masterclass. I want you to remember it. So yeah, you don't know. We might get a singer or something there. We'll see.
Y'all heard it here first. That's awesome. So kind of talk we're gonna take a slight turn, y'all, but this is to give you guys a broader picture of why, Gayle's vision of helping people get over the hump is so important. So I saw a recent post on, I want to say it was My City Stickers actually. I
Hmm.
don't know if it was your personal one or My City Stickers, but you have a video where you share sort of that backstory of the unfortunate loss of your son. but that
Mhm.
gave you that sense of urgency, like, okay, I'm going to challenge myself to do these exciting things in my
For
life. Like, what,
sure.
when the opportunities arise, I'm going to do them. I'm not going to hesitate. So if you don't mind, please, share that with the audience.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, I appreciate that, Melissa,
Mhm.
you watching that video. But yeah, so unfortunately, in 2009, my firstborn, my oldest son, he was murdered. And I, as you can imagine, kind of down spiraled. And it was like I just wanted to quit life, and having two other children, of course I could not do that, but just you
Mhm.
can imagine the intensity of the moment. And so, but I also, my oldest son, he was such a go-getter, and he was like for the people. And so I just wanted to behave in a way that I thought would be a good way to remember him, because
Mm.
he was always an advocate for the people. He was always like the life of the party. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to get up, wash my face, and live life. Enjoy life, because tomorrow life isn't promised. And so, I created a bucket list, Melissa. So I have this whole bucket
Wow.
list of things that I'm going to do, knock it out. And anything that I heard that inspired me, like this, I heard a young lady, she was my coworker, I was working at the time. She said she had traveled to all seven continents. It was just so amazing to me. And I said, I want to travel all seven continents. So as of last August, I went to Australia, and that was my seventh continent. So I've been to all
Hey,
seven continents.
ding.
But yeah, so anything that I want to do, I consider myself now, I create a life that I love. And so I write
Mm.
down all the things that I do, and I don't write them down. I don't want them to be dreams or visions. These are things that I'm going to do. And so I take all of the structure that I have, all of my lists, all of my planners, and I write down what I have to do to reach all of those goals. And so, yeah, I think my son would be really happy and smiling and say, "You go, mom."
Wow. I love
Yeah,
that. That's so touching. The that last part, the fact that you're like, I think my son would be proud. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
think that's so awesome. Because there are some stories that we sometimes hear in interviews where people are in the process of living for, the person they lost. But I love the finality with which you said
yeah.
that. Like, I already know, like, he's
Oh, for
proud.
sure.
So talk about the transformation that you've seen in yourself. Like, obviously there's the tangible result. You've been to all seven continents. Awesome.
Hmm.
Like, that's fire. That alone is fire. But talk about the person you became in the process of making that, even accomplishing that goal.
Hmm. So, for me, personal growth and self development was the key.
Hmm.
I fell in love with personal growth and self development because so I am a probably optimistic, positive person anyway,
Hmm.
but the personal growth and self development was kind of the fuel added to the fire. And it
Mm.
let me know that, yeah, you can achieve anything you want to achieve. And it doesn't matter how you're feeling, which is a big hindrance, I think, for a lot of people, because a lot of times you don't feel like doing it. Well, neither do I, but I just do it despite how I feel. And that is one thing that I found that has changed in me, where I've evolved, where I'll just do things not feeling like it, or when life is lifing, as it's going to always do as long as we're breathing, I'm just going
That
to
part.
keep going. And yep, I'm going to knock out whatever I need to knock out despite how I feel. So that was the biggest change in me. I don't go based on how I feel, I just go.
That's good. That's good. So for the practical, on the practical level, talk about that. Like, how do you get to that point? Because there are some people who they're right, their behavior styles are more emotionally driven.
Hmm.
How would you recommend that they kind of push through their feelings and just do a thing, whether they feel like doing it or not?
Yeah, and I'll just go back to what I said for me, my daily planner. I think
Mm.
you can reverse engineer your way into anything, I believe. You have a goal, you
Oh,
have a dream, you have a task, whatever it is you want to do, write that down. And then you back up and write down the steps that you need to get there and just make them small enough that you can achieve them so you're not overwhelmed. And just do one thing at a time until you get there. Just slow walk your way to achievement. So, yeah, I would
awesome,
definitely
awesome.
recommend tasks, to do lists.
Indeed. So to that point, like I'm all over the place, y'all. Like I have a specific set of questions, but Gail is dropping such incredible nuggets that I have to like kind of like dig into them a little bit more in terms of the to-do list, because some would be of the argument that a to-do list can kind of become infinite if you're not careful. So like talk to us about the importance of assigning deadlines to those tasks. Like how are you able to knock those out when you're breaking the bigger goals into smaller tasks?
Absolutely. So, yep, my list, my life is very, very structured. And so I have my goals broken down into quarters. So every quarter I
Okay,
have a
quarter.
goal. So I need to get this done this quarter. And even
Hmm.
within the quarter, I have to get these done this month. So I assign a completion date to everything I do. And
Hmm.
because there's a breadth to what I want to do, it's a lot. I know I can't do it all. Prioritizing becomes critical. And so I
Hmm.
prioritize the things that are important because I want to make sure I'm not just doing things, but I'm doing the right things, that I'm doing the things that are going to lead me to my goals. And so some of the things that I want to do but may not be a priority, I'll put in a backlog. So I
Okay.
use a project management framework to kind of accomplish the things I want to and write down the list
Hmm.
and all of that. So yeah, if you don't put a date to these
Hmm.
tasks that you have for yourself, you're probably not gonna achieve them. You're gonna
Hmm.
end up not doing them or stretching them out, and then your goal is gonna get further and further out of reach. And so, yeah, that becomes critical to make sure you set a date for everything you have to do, and just make it realistic and achievable.
Got you. Thanks for going down that like side street with me.
Oh,
Appreciate that.
anytime.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So to your point about the if you notice, guys, she speaks with a lot of specificity. You know, Gail is someone that's very big on structure. We gotta talk about your vision board parties because I did not know that was a thing. I've heard of vision board events,
Hmm.
like, I'm in the church community. Sometimes our church will do a vision board event, if you will. We're gathered together. We have all the stack of magazines. We're cutting all the stuff out, whatever. And it is decent. You know what I mean? you get it done. You're happy to be with your friends, whatever. Y'all go to City Stickers on Instagram. Go to her Instagram page or Facebook. Her vision board parties are literal parties. You got to talk about that, Gail. Like, how do you make that such an amazing experience for people?
Well, that is exactly it. What you said, the goal is to create an experience. So I don't just want people to learn how to achieve goals and have the tools and all the things, but I want them to have such an experience where it doesn't become such a like a drag to
Hmm.
write goals and all of that. I want it to be a fun part and you kind of incorporate it into your lifestyle. And so, what do you have at a party? You have food. So, we make it a brunch.
Yep.
We want you to be
Yep.
comfortable. So, wear your pajamas. It's a pajama party,
Oh,
it's
nice.
a brunch. So if we don't have a DJ, we'll have a playlist going at all times. We have props, we have 360 cameras, we have photo booths, we have vendors there. So you're walking into a whole experience. And then the decorations, we got clouds going on up in the ceiling, and
So
we
cute.
supply providing all of the supplies. And we had a poet at the last one, and she was, talked about the importance of who we are. We also want to instill some self development in people. We want you to feel secure about who you are. So we had the
Right.
poet come and talk a little bit about that. And so yeah, it's a we want to make it a party and just add some vision board to
Oh, there's a difference, y'all. It's a party first, and it just happens to have the vision board in there. I love that.
That's right.
I love that. But yeah, that last video, the sort of highlight reel, I was like, wow. Like I
Yeah.
never imagined having FOMO about a vision board anything. But that, like, you watch that reel, y'all, like you'll feel some FOMO there. Like it was a great it was great to see it presented in that way. And it kind of, I don't know if you're familiar with a book called Feel Good Productivity, Gail. It's
I don't
by,
think
yeah, it's by a young gentleman by the name of Ali Abdal. So
okay, I'm
he's,
writing it down.
hey, write it down, write it down. So yeah, Ali Abdal, his last name has two A's in it, technically three. A at the beginning
Okay,
and two before the L. But yeah, Feel
got
Good
it.
Productivity. Yeah, Feel Good Productivity is the name of the book. The the main message of it, obviously, the book is meant to conquer procrastination as well. But the
Hmm.
premise of the book is there's we tend to be a lot more productive if we are able to find joy in the things that we have to do, even the stuff that's mundane,
Absolutely,
which essentially that's what you did with the vision board party.
for
Like you
sure.
made it a party that just happened to have
That's right. That's
the
right.
work of putting a vision board together in it. So we tend to put more energy into the work that we're doing when we can find something enjoyable about it, even if it
Yeah,
is something quote unquote boring.
that's
So
right.
yeah, yeah, I love that you have a real life example of that. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
You kind of already covered my next question, which is how you fuel perpetual productivity. But my question is, given that you are someone of structure, that you do
Hmm.
have your planner, you have your stuff broken into quarters and then into months and then into weeks and all of that stuff. But is there ever a remote, rare time where you feel tempted to procrastinate? And if so, what do you normally do about it? If it
So,
happens.
so I give into the temptation. I'm
At
I'm
least she's
just
honest.
saying.
She keeps it real, y'all.
I am human, and so yeah, I absolutely want to procrastinate sometimes. And what I found is that a lot of times it's when I feel overwhelmed. It's when I have
Ooh,
like all these balls in the air, I have all these things to do, and it's like, you know what, I'm not doing anything. And I just get the remote control and I binge watch something. And so I give myself the grace to take a break. I call that a welcome break. I don't know. I renamed procrastination to a welcome break.
that might
So
be
I'm,
dangerous.
it can be dangerous. But so I don't live there though.
Mhm,
And so I know that I have to get back up on that horse. And so what I do to come out of it is
mhm,
I will do one thing. So I'll do one thing, and sometimes that is what it takes to kind of fuel some motivation a little bit. And then I eventually I'm just back at it, and I'm doing the things I will prioritize because sometimes I can get so busy doing things that I get overwhelmed because I have too many things, and then I have to go back and prioritize again so that I can have an achievable amount of things to do, and
mhm.
then yeah, that helps me get recover from procrastination. And so, yeah, I do still have times when I procrastinate, but I just don't live there.
Got you. And just I do want to make sure I highlight a couple of things because Gail been dropping some gems. I haven't highlighted them, so I want to make sure I highlight some of them. Here, what you just mentioned, that welcome break, I can't even really debate that because breaks are necessary. I think one of the things I mentioned in my previous interview, guys, with Jessica Holly, because she was talking about her schedule, the way she uses a planner as well. Like hers is back here. It's not really showing, but let me tilt
Okay,
a little bit. That's hers over there,
gotcha.
next to ET's book. But yeah, so one of the things I did mention in that episode is building margin into your schedule. Like you do want to build in small blocks of time where if something does get thrown off, if you do have to take a break, whatever, the whole rest of your day isn't knocked off just because you took a break. Like there are gaps in the schedule that can allow for your breaks while you can still get to accomplish the things you wanted to accomplish within the day. Like that's very important because I learned that firsthand. I had my schedule like tight, like every single minute was accounted for. And then one thing took a little too long and then like everything else
Yes.
got messed up in the schedule. And the last thing you want to do is set yourself up for failure. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? because that's not the message you want to give yourself either, because then you'll end up in a place of defeat, like, like, what's this good for? I'll just whatever, you'll be tempted to veg. One of the other things you pointed out earlier that I want to make sure to bring back and highlight is the fact that you said you prioritize the things that are important to what you need to do. Like, it's not just a matter of filling your schedule with things to do. It's focusing on the ones that will actually get you towards your goal. Gayle and I
Exactly.
we're part of the mastermind, and the thing they always call it is needle moving
Yes.
activities,
Yes.
right? So,
The
like, it's
next
it's
right
important to
thing.
the next right thing. The key is to focus on whatever those activities are that will get you towards your goal. Even at work, maybe Gayle and I have the privilege of being entrepreneurs, but
Yeah.
you might be someone that's working a 9 to 5, and there's some certain tasks that you probably don't think is important, but your boss is requiring you to do. You know what I mean? But even with the work that is in front of you, there are ways to distill the most important tasks and focus on those. Because I don't know if you experienced this while you were working in the corporate realm before, but
Hmm.
for me personally, I definitely had that issue. Like, I would get easily overwhelmed, and
Oh,
then
for
stuff would get
sure.
backed up because like, too much stuff. I had too much stuff to do, and then somebody always comes to your desk and adds stuff, right? Like,
Always.
they add some more stuff, and it still has to get done that day, and you're like, how is this going to be physically possible? So the key is to slow your brain down and distill the most important items that you got to get done. Not everything has to get done right now.
That's right.
Not everything. But
That's
yeah,
right.
I'll
You
give you
know
back the
what's
floor.
what's interesting, Melissa? My daughter just came today because she know I'm a little overwhelmed right now, and she
Hmm.
came to me. She said, "How come you don't do your block time anymore?" She said, "You used to block off certain days when you didn't do any work," and so I'm glad you said that because that reminded me I need to reintegrate that into my schedule to do block time. And I guess, because I felt like I had so many things to do, like you said, at the end of the work day, I felt like I don't have time to not work. But it's important. And especially given you had mentioned we're in the mastermind and we've all taken the flight assessment. But given that I am an ATC, I need to re energize. I need to give myself time to refuel so that I
Hmm.
can be the best version of myself and get the good work done. So, yeah, I'm going to reintegrate that into my life, block time.
Hey, hey. Like, real time updates, y'all.
Real time
Sister girl taking
updates.
notes. I love it. I love it.
For
So,
sure.
thank you for bringing up the assessment. I wanted to ask you, one, how long ago did you take yours, and what transformation did you see in yourself once you got the clear layout? Like, oh, this is the snapshot of how I roll, what my natural style is. How did you see yourself transform once you were more self aware?
Yeah. So I took the assessment last year. This is the second time I took it. I took it last year when we started the mastermind. So
Mm-hmm.
that was probably like the end of the year or the beginning. And what was interesting is that before I took the assessment, so I know I just call myself quirky because I am very structured and I'm like, why how do people live without being like I am? And what I found is that there is a community of people, and I'm an ATC. There are lots of ATCs out there, and we just vibe. It's like, okay, so you get me.
That.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, what it helped me tremendously because I now also am very intentional about how I communicate with people. Because
Mm,
like I said before, I'm like, why aren't you like me? It's because they're like them. And that's not good or bad. It's just different, but just understanding who they are and a way to communicate them to get the most out of the conversation. I think that was the biggest aha for me. And yeah, also I have the ability to let's say, so when I'm attending events, like being in the sticker community, I have to go to, not that I have to, but I go to vending events, or I even host events like the master class is coming up. So I know that I can do that. I can network, I can engage for a while. And then after
Mm,
that, I have to give myself time to recharge. I can't just keep going, 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 because that I won't function well. And so it made me more self-aware of who I am and how I move, and how to be the best person that I can be in every situation, and also communicate with people based on who they are and not necessarily who I am.
yeah, it teaches you to speak the language,
For sure.
which is very important. And I don't know about you, Gail, but it's taking the assessment made it so much easier to identify like each strength, each
It's so
natural style.
funny.
You're just like, oh, you're that, or at least like you're probably predominantly that. Like in your head, you're just like, okay,
Yeah.
that's mostly pilot. That
Mhm.
one's
Mhm.
mostly flight attendant. Like, you know what I
And
mean?
it's
It
so
was so much
interesting
easier.
when you know those characteristics that align with, let's say, flight attendant. It's like, wow, that explains a lot. Once you find
Right?
out they're a flight attendant, it's like, oh, okay. That was right on the money. But yeah, it
Right on
makes
the
you
money.
more sympathetic and empathetic to who
Yes,
they are, and you can communicate with them better. So yeah, I love flight assessment. Definitely recommend it for everybody.
absolutely. I agree with that. And I mean, the thing that made it so useful for me was not only learning the natural behavior styles, guys, but also, like I told you, it's not just your results. You're getting a 19-page report. And one of the most helpful tools in that report is that each behavior style has its own list of keywords associated with it. So, for ATC, for instance, the air traffic control, you've got, detail oriented, planning, structure, words like that, things that have to do with very, very detail oriented stuff. Or for like the pilot, for example, dominant, vision, aggressive, that kind of thing. And what those keywords help you understand about each behavior style is that our natural behavior styles leak out of us, guys. Like
Hmm.
whatever you are, whatever your natural personality is, they're just certain words you naturally say. And
Hmm.
so we can catch those words in conversations and be like, oh, that's a pilot right there.
Yes.
Or, oh, that's a flight attendant right there. Whenever I hear anybody talking about moving fast or being annoyed with people who move slow,
That's
pilot.
right.
Or somebody that uses the word vision, or they call themselves a visionary, that's a pilot. Those are key
Hmm.
words that are associated with that. So, as anybody that I talk to, guys, that, whenever we get to the assessment, I always give the website. Go to flightassessment.com to take yours if you haven't yet, and learn yourself and the world around you, and teach the world how to treat you
For
once you're fully
sure.
self-aware.
I
Absolutely,
love
absolutely.
that. And also, Melissa, with that flight assessment and just having that awareness, it
Hmm.
being in business, you learn that you need all of those characteristics in your
All of
team.
them. All of them.
Because yeah, we flow in a certain way naturally, and to make sure that it's all balanced, we have to have everybody's perspective to get a comprehensive picture and to go forward. So yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Before I get to my questions, I'm gonna give a quick story that demonstrates exactly what you're talking about, Gail. So
Okay.
this is not a work example, but it's still a team example. So anything, guys, that you're dealing with in your life, whether that's on the job or just in a team setting, this still applies. So I just had the experience, Gail, of having like a birth month celebration.
Okay.
It wasn't, I didn't host it, but I was a participant because my birthday was in the month of February, and I was laughing with my parents afterward because I said, okay, it was clear that that team needed an ATC. Like it was clear. It was clear. The MC was clearly pilot. There were a whole lot of ground crew because this event took place at a church. there was a
Okay.
whole lot of grounds crew because, of course, in the faith-based community, a lot of us want to serve. So
Absolutely.
a lot of grounds crew, lots of hands and feet, which were awesome. But you have a pilot and a bunch of grounds crew. So and the lady who was hosting the event is high flight attendant.
Of
So
course she is.
right. So very, the lady whose idea it was very bubbly, effervescent, the life of the party. Literally, her dress was colorful and gorgeous and shimmery. I was like, "Yep, flight attendant." But unfortunately, the program was kind of non-existent, which is why I use air quotes. There was a non-existent program, so the flow was a bit awkward and kind of choppy.
Hmm.
So to Gayle's point, guys, like that's a real life demonstration.
That's
You
good.
need all four natural styles as part of your team. That way everyone fills each other's gaps.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
that's
very
good. That
true.
was a good story. Hope you
Yeah,
enjoyed your birthday month.
it was good. It was good. And shout out to all of us celebrants at the party. It was like 12 or 14 of us that were
Oh
what I
wow.
call Febbies. And
Yes.
everybody enjoyed themselves. So it was pretty cool.
Nice. Good,
Absolutely.
good, good.
Yes, indeed. So one of the as we wrap up, one of the points you also made earlier that I want to come back to and highlight, you talked about the importance of accountability. So let's dig into that a little bit more and what will that look like in the masterclass? Because you do have a lot of stuff lined up for them. How will that accountability look that will help them to get the stuff done that they've written down, like after they planned out all their goals?
Absolutely. So, yep, that's big. And that's one of the things that we put in the workbook. And so
Okay.
we want you to make sure that you're writing down everything that you need to do every single day to be accountable. I'm also looking to match people up with an actual accountability partner in the
Mm-hmm.
group.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll also have, we'll be in a Telegram group where we'll be sharing, did you do what you needed to do? Did you do what you intended to do? So, yeah, I think accountability is key. And even if it's a little annoying to you, you'll see that it actually helps you move the needle. It'll actually help you get you closer to your goal because you're not going to be the only one that comes in there and say, oh, I didn't get around to doing it. So, yeah, I think accountability is a little bit of friendly competition too. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
love it. So we'll definitely be hitting on accountability in the masterclass.
Awesome. And for you, like is the master class is our mastermind it for you in terms of accountability, like making sure your day-to-day things are accomplished?
As far as programs, you mean like external?
Yeah, in terms of like the mastermind that we're a part of, is that
Uh-huh.
your present accountability method or yeah.
Absolutely. And I considered myself to be kind of accountable to myself with my checklist. So I use my tools to help me be accountable, but also like in the business, me and my daughter, we have a huddle and hustle day every Monday. And so
Oh,
that's we're
nice.
working in the same environment. We're going down our list to make sure every all the things are getting done that should be getting done. We strategize, we talk about goals and all of that. So that is one accountability piece that I have. But absolutely, the mastermind, the UOU mastermind is next level accountability. I've never seen anything like it, but nor have I had as much achievement as I've had since I've been in that
Mm,
mastermind. That is just next level accountability. So yeah, that is the best thing I say. That's the best thing that has happened to me in 2023 going into 2024. Absolutely.
awesome. Awesome. And then lastly, I'll ask you this. I ask everyone this. What do you feel is the most rewarding part of the work that you do?
Um, I guess for me, because I've been in, I think people are made up of their experiences, exposure, and environment.
Mm-hmm.
And the environment that I've been in, that I grew up in, I hear people talking about wanting to do things. They had dreams, they had visions, and the such, but they kind of let life and take
Mm,
over, and their dreams are replaced by their salary levels, and so
Mm,
it's like they're only now they feel like they can only achieve what their salary says they can achieve. And then I see people who pass on with those dreams, still talking about those dreams and not achieving them. So for me, what's most rewarding is to be able to give some people some of the things that help me to make those dreams a reality, and then to actually see their dreams come to fruition. So for me, that's the most rewarding part.
beautiful. Let them
Yeah.
know the socials. Let them know where they can get a hold of City Stickers, get a hold of you. Where can they
Yeah,
go?
yeah. So that is my daughter's job, and so I don't have to remember it, but let's see how I do. So
I
on
love
the
that.
socials, on the socials, it's My City Stickers. On IG and Facebook. I think on IG it may just be City Stickers. Our website is mycitystickers.com, and you can always reach out to us, email mycitystickers@gmail.com. But yeah, so it's either City Stickers or My City Stickers. Don't judge me.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you guys know you'll see it on the screen, and we always have it in the show notes, guys. And I'll also provide the show notes for that month-long intensive, that 4-week intensive, the
Thank
Dream
you.
and Vision, Dreams and Visions
Dreams
Masterclass.
and
Is that
Visions.
correct?
Yes. Yes.
Dreams and
It's the
Visions
follow
Masterclass.
on to the Dreams and Visions vision board party that we had.
Yes, love that. So y'all see how she did that, right? Like she
See what I
gave
did
the
there?
dessert. She gave the dessert first. She let everybody have the party, and
That's
then
right.
come March, she's like, all right, now let's get to work, y'all. Let's get to
Time to
work.
roll up your sleeves. Let's go. This
Love
is
it.
not an art project.
Yes, yes, that is so true. I'm so glad
Yes.
you put it that way. That is perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, Gayle, thank you so much for being here. The door's always open. We'd love to have you back on.
Thank you for having me, Melissa. I think you're amazing and I love your show.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Was that not an awesome interview? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you collected all of the gems that were dropped in that conversation. And be sure to follow her on the socials. You guys will see that information on the screen and in the show notes. You guys know I take care of you. And of course, follow and subscribe here at Getting the Win on YouTube and on Pinterest, Threads, and Instagram. It is at Getting the Win Show. All right. So to make sure you continue to get all of your productivity goodness, all the beating procrastination goodness, be sure to stay tuned and click the bell icon when you subscribe on YouTube. That way you get all the notifications, not only for the episodes, but also the community posts and everything else. But in the meantime, hopefully you're having a great Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week. And remember to hashtag get on that. Make sure you're taking care of that luxury item. Whatever that is, leave that status in the comments. Let me know where you are with it. All right. I look forward to celebrating with you and helping you to push forward if that's something you need. In the meantime, peace out. And be sure to check out the merch shop. If you are curious about the shirt, you want one for yourself, you can go to gettingthewingear.com. That way you see this shirt, you'll see a bunch of other accessories as well. We've got hoodies, we've got sweats, we've got all the gifts that you could possibly want to buy for yourself and for your folks to get the message out about being as productive as possible and staying true to yourself. Because the mission of this show is to turn procrastinators into producers. That's why I always task you guys to hashtag get on that and make sure you're on top of your luxury item. And that way you can rock the gear to remind the world that you are all about that luxury item. You are all about getting things done, getting the goals instead of simply setting them.